This is a video to give you more information on how to replace the fuel pump on a John Deere Gator. This is a 2006 model. When I was looking around on YouTube, I didn't find anything on how to replace these. I've already pulled everything apart, so you'll be looking at the Gator being put back together. I have a rollover top. Basically have to remove the seats as well as remove a cover panel under the seats in order to get to the one screw that holds the fuel pump on, and it's hidden behind the bracketry for the rollover top. So I'll try to give you enough information. When you look at the diagrams, it really doesn't tell you how much stuff you've got to remove in order to get to that fuel pump. And I'll be taking pictures with a Nikon camera as well as some GoPros in order to give you an idea of how things go back together. Okay, this is the line that goes to the manifold on the engine. It comes over to the fuel filter. From the fuel filter it comes out and goes to the fuel pump. The fuel pump has a rubber hose covering around it. And then this is the clamp. So one-sided clamp has a notch that fits in there. And then this is the new fuel pump. So basically I'll go ahead and assemble the new fuel pump. This is a John Deere part. The leads have already been attached. Cover. Basically the fuel pump snaps into a piece there. The other end attaches to a hose that goes to the tank. And then this is the sleeve for vibration, and then the clamp will go on top of that piece like that. Okay, from the passenger side, the fuel filter will mount in here like this. So it makes an L shape and ends up over here by the manifold. This will have to be weaved into the assembly. And this is the clamp. I'll take it off for now. And the part that holds the fuel pump on is basically two panel nuts that are pushed into location. One side has a notch, and then the other side can be pushed into a hole. And at this point the fuel line can be attached. It's basically just to push on. These clips are a little aggravating to get apart, but in general they're pretty easy to attach the line. And at this point I can attach my fuel line, which is right here, and it ends up on the tank. I'll try to point that out in just a second. And essentially I've got to put the clamp on. I've got the screw started. I'll go ahead and attach this screw, and then I'll show you the plumbing as far as how it goes to the tank. Okay, from the GoPro we'll look at the unit in more detail. Okay, from the top of the tank, this is the hose that runs to the fuel line. It goes right up to the top part of the Gator's chassis, and then it attaches to the fuel line. This notch right here is the notch for the bottom half of the bracket, and then the screw is attached at the very top. On the back side, you'll see that the fuel pump is nested up under the chassis in the very back, and the fuel line runs along here, over here, into the tank. In the diagram, it reflects an additional fuel filter, of which I wasn't able to. So this is a straight run all the way to the top of the tank, and it has a pickup line that goes down into the tank. Okay, what I'm showing you right here, this is the fuel line bracket. This is the number 2, number 10. Okay, here we are once again. This is a number 10. Basically screws through here into the bracket. The bracket has a nut that attaches to the top of the bracket and is secured on the edge of the bracket. Basically, this is tightened up, and it'll snug around that rubber piece tube that isolates the fuel pump. And I guess before I get too far, I want to actually, well, I'm missing a battery. I'll try that in just a second. From this point, I'll actually install my battery back in here and check my fuel pump out, see how much it buzzes. The fuel line attaches here to the manifold, comes around to the edge of the filter. Here's my filter. From a filter, it now goes to the fuel pump, and then from the fuel pump, again, it comes back around to the top of the tank where the gas line pickup. This is a good time if you actually run extra wiring to check your wiring. I've got several things connected, winch, a few floodlights, a few emergency lights, and then was able to find a problem where with my latest addition, the guys at the shop left one of my cables disconnected. On this Gator, I've had the remote alternator added. I had problems with the regulator going bad, and this is actually the voltage regulator right there. It's mounted to the frame. I actually think the regulator went out. First problem I had was associated with bad grease on the wiring. My regulator eventually did go out. Didn't have an opportunity to pull it off and send it to, I believe it was Electrolux, in which they could build me a new unit. But, okay, let me put the battery in, check things out. Be back in a second. Okay, at this point in time, I've got the battery in, my fuel pump's in, the connections are made. We'll try the starter. We'll listen for a buzz, which should be the fuel pump pumping gas up on the fuel rail. Oops, I forgot to plug my pump in. That was pretty easy. Sound pretty quiet, that's what I was looking for. And there's essentially no noise from the fuel pump. Earlier it was screaming, This is the fuel pump. This is the connections right next to the fuel pump. Everything seems to be pretty good. And then now we'll go segment by segment on putting the cover back on. In general, I probably won't say much. I'll just be putting parts on. I'll try to find a good place to put the camera and then let you watch everything. Bye. Okay, we're back. One of the main things is this particular cover right here. This cover goes over under the seats. It's over the passenger side as well as the driver's side. It basically has 2 screws that hold it together. Okay, at this point we'll put the center console. The brake lever needs to be up. And it basically slides on pretty easily over the shifter knobs. There's only one to kind of get it aligned. And once that's aligned, there's 2 screws on the other side. There's 2 nuts. There's 2 nuts right here. There's a handle to be installed right here. And then these are the mounting locations for the seats. As far as the shifter knob, they slide on like this. One takes a number 11 screw or nut. And the other one takes a quite a bit larger nut. Oh. And then I've got 2 knobs that go on top of that. The 2 cover plates that are mounted. I'll probably peel that green back off eventually. So it'll be the orange knobs. Okay, these nuts are number 13. On this removal, 13's used quite a bit. On the shifter knob, it takes a number 17. I use 17s on wall plugs, so I keep those flagged. And then these basically just snap on. Use a screwdriver to pry them off. This handle installs in this battery box, but it prevents that center console from coming out. And I will probably disconnect the battery again in order to work on that. At this point, there's a metal rail that goes across the back. Hopefully you can see it a little better. Rail attaches across here and holds the seat belt. Turn it around wrong. These nuts right here attaching the rest of the rollover top are number 18. I was actually surprised they had that size. So once I install that rail, you can see I've got one bolt here, one bolt there, which attaches to the chassis. I've got two bolts here that attach to the frame, which is supported right now by a board that I've got wedged up under there. And then the same installation on the back. Actually, the seat belt attaches right here, and I've got it dangling by a bolt as well. And I'll come back after I've installed this back rail. Okay, I've got the back rail in, everything's attached, the seat belts are attached. What I've got left is put the seats on in both locations. I've already tried the engine. Seems to be running real good. It's cranking fine. I don't hear any whining noise. So let's see if we can get this done before the mosquitoes get back out here. Let's see. I'll go grab a seat. Well, that looks good. Move to the other side. The other side has more parts back together. Actually, let's see if we can't do it from this seat. Hope you didn't get dizzy. Okay, here we go. I've got brackets. basically you don't even hear the pump turn on, so everything looks like it's turning out pretty good. This is a John Deere Gator 2006. It's a 620i unit. It's got the rollover top. If I walk around the additions, naturally fire extinguisher. I've added a emergency light on the top. Basket. Got a basket on the front. Got a winch. A couple extra lights. Maybe I'll turn those on for you. And then walking around on this side, I got a lift. Due to some surgery, needed a lift to put deer in the back. And then let's turn some of the switches on. So as you walk around and look at the back, again, these are lights. I stopped to help somebody along the road one time and almost got run over, so I've added my own protection, or hopefully my protection. And whether or not people pay attention, I don't know. Pay attention when you're driving. Again, on the front, I've got lights on the front, floodlights, and then I got some flashers that are working as well. So hopefully you can take advantage of this video. It was mainly to replace a fuel pump on the 620i Gator. Bye.